Hey, this is Eric with a basic tutorial of Planetary War. So I like to start with, got these little options down here. I think I'm going to use the larger font size. We have a font size option down here. You can control the minimap, set your minimap colors. You can do red versus blue, so all the allies are blue and all the enemies are red. You've got a number of different options. You can make all your units white, kind of like some of the Warcraft, Starcraft series games. Now the way this game typically plays, you start off by getting some materials, which is sort of your main resource of building things. So you're going to want to build some building, kind of like here I have a basic refinery. So I'm going to build a refinery for my first turn. And you click the finish button to finish your turn. And you continue this way. So I've got an opponent over here. He's a computer just playing against me with the tree people. It's the Kitharia planet. And I have, for my second turn, I don't have enough materials to build another refinery. So I'm just going to keep generating materials. Finish that round, build another refinery. And the beginning of the game typically goes a lot like that. You know, you build a lot of refineries, start getting an income until you really get to where you've got a good, strong civilization going. And a lot of times this will depend on how your civilization is built, because in Planetary War, you can build customized civilizations. Now I'm continuing with this basic world I'm playing on. I'm going to build a power core. So this is your other important resource. You can see up in the up right here, I have power. Power is sort of your resource of shooting, so you'll want to have some of that, but it's less strategically important than materials because it's easy to get. So I'm going to build a power core. So as you can see, sort of the first step is getting an income. Second step of playing the game is typically going out, doing some expanding, and maybe eventually fighting with your opponent. So here I've got an airfield, build some ships. So I'm going to build a starfighter or two. And here I've got this shuttle. Now, it might be hard to see the description here, but what this shuttle does is it'll allow me to build more refineries out on distant little asteroids, sort of like this asteroid here. So typically I think it's a good idea to start off with something like a shuttle that'll allow you to go kind of expand, make a little base on some of those asteroids. In the meantime, you can keep building on your planet. Now here it says that target can't support any more structures, so I've hit the maximum number of buildings on my home planet. So I'm going to have to go expand. You can see you can draw a box, select a group of units, and fly them out. In my case, I'm going to fly them out here. I'm using the typical rectangular formations. In this case, it's putting them in a triangle because I only have 3 units. And they're going to fly out here to this asteroid. So that's one of the things about Planetary War, is your movement phases are all decided before they happen. So like right now, my computer opponent over there, if he had any ships, which he doesn't, he'd be deciding where they go while I decide where my ships go. And then once we've all made our plans, we click that finish button. As you can see here, my ships are going to fly to this asteroid. And now we're ready for the next turn. So this would be where I would start expanding, building a refinery on this little world. Or, depending on how your civilization's set up, I can build an airfield too on this little asteroid. So I can be expanding. And so your game will kind of go like that some more. And you start expanding, trying to get more resources to build up a good income. Now as you can see here, I'm now on turn 18. I've built some battleships, and I'm starting to get to that point where I could do some combat with my enemies. They've got 2 razor leaf ships here, as well as a couple ships back near their planet coming towards me. And one of the interesting things here about Planetary War is sort of the battle strategics. So you want to be careful because you need to try to anticipate where your enemy's going to go during your move phase, because you're deciding where to go at the same time that they are, and you can't see each other's moves. So he's got his 2 razor leaves here. He might be planning to jump. If you look at this blue area, he's got a very large distance he can travel. He can go out to the edge of this blue circle in any direction. You can always see a blue circle for a unit during move phase by just clicking on it. So he and I both have very large circles we can move in. He might fly his razor leaf ships here over to right here where I've got some ships, but you know, for all I know, he might also fly him back towards his home planet this way. And I really don't know his plans, and I have to try to anticipate. So that's why I've got 2 starfighters kind of waiting over here, 2 over there. And I think maybe I'll fly these 2 down, so I've got some troops towards the back and some troops towards the front. And if you see these green lines here, I've actually also got 2 battle cruisers ready to fly up and be defending here in case his razor leaves come to meet me in combat over here. Now, because he's a computer opponent, he's not actually smart enough to anticipate that my battle cruisers might fly up, so there's a large chance he might fly over here. I'm going to click finish and we'll find out. But in this case, he decided to regroup. He's meeting up with, so you can see my movements were all sort of for nothing in this case, right? You got to always be careful what your opponent's going to do and anticipate where he's going to move. and he just went back and regrouped, getting some more razor leaves together. With that in mind, I could continue expanding some resources, making some more mineral plants. It looks like I've got 4. So most of these little asteroids you can only build 4 of these refineries. So I'm building up my little refinery bases on the asteroids, and I filled up most of these, so I can't expand much more. Now would be a good time for me to have, in that move phase, moved my shuttles. I've got about 3 off to new asteroids, but I didn't do that. So maybe I'll make some more battle cruisers. And you'd continue like this, going ability phase and then move phase, planning out your combat with each other. So here he's got his razor leaves. I'm thinking maybe I'm gonna fly up here and see if I can meet him in battle. And you can select a group. So here I've got like a rectangular 6 formation because I selected 6 ships. You can always guide your ships around to form whatever kind of groups you'd like. Here, this move phase worked out in my favor, so as you can see here, my battle cruisers are nicely in range of one of his razor leaves. So I'm going to start blasting him. I don't quite have my starfighters in range though, so I'll just be using the battle cruisers this round. And they've got 2 different attacks. They've got an attack, this small one, and they've got an attack, the big radius. So this longer range attack is the only one of the 2 I'll be using, but should do well. So when I finish the ability phase, in any combat phase like this, you see those red lines to indicate who I'm attacking, and then when I finish, you'll see the attacks actually happen. So here I'm going to shoot my little rockets. Now, those razor leaves shoot a lot of lasers. You can see he lasered several of my ships. A couple of these starfighters are yellow now. They're taking some serious damage, but the battle cruisers are pretty tough, and they're still all doing well. The final objective in Planetary War, once you've got a bit of an army built up, and here I've got a couple ships, is to reach your opponent's command center and destroy it, and they'll be trying to defend it. So here I've got this example player. He's playing the Catharia civilization, which has several different kinds of bushes and trees as his buildings. And his underbrush, these grass-looking things, I know from experience that they're going to be shooting at me. So we're going to have a little bit of a battle here. I can start off trying to blast his leaves out of the air, and then going to try to fight his command center. And we'll continue our rounds. You can see there's a lot of energy attacks flying at me out of these underbrush little grass things. They do a lot of shooting. They shoot this green energy, which will hit my ships one at a time. He took out a starfighter, and he's doing some damage to that battle cruiser. But I'm going to continue onward. You can see one of my ships is red here in the little indicator, which means he's taking heavy damage. If I double click him, it'll show me he's at 6 of 32. And I'm going to do this move phase, fly onto his command center, see if I can pummel him and win. And here, you take your attacks. So you can do a group select. So you can select all your units at once and tell them to attack, and they'll all attack at once. So it's a way of saving time, too, during your rounds. So here I'm going to be shooting this command center. You can see it's going down. It's going down to 1,500 hit points, but he just killed all of my starfighters, even though I did a lot of good damage that round. So I'm going to let this turn keep going. I'm not going to move from a move phase. I'm just going to sit here, and I'm going to keep trying to destroy him. And sometimes you're successful, sometimes you get destroyed, but the ultimate objective of the game is to defeat all of the command centers of all of your opponents. So in this case, we've got 2 planets, me versus my opponent, and I have a command center, he has a command center. The first one of us to beat the other one wins. But in a multiplayer game, you might have 3 players on one team, 3 players on the other team, and so each team's goal is to destroy the 3 command centers of the other team.